Welcome back in. Wow, what a weekend of football. We have some very, very exciting games to talk about. Not only that, in these upcoming weeks, football is going to be, it's going to really be turning up. The NFL is just hitting its stride pretty much in college. I know October 12th and October 19th are supposed to be some of the best weekends in college football all year. Man, it's really that time, huh? So without any further ado, today we're going to talk about pretty much going over NFL Week 5, or excuse me. Whoa! Not there yet, boy. NFL Week 4. NFL Week 4, and then we'll talk about college football Week 5. Like I said, we got Bama, Georgia to talk about. We also got the top 25 to talk about. When it comes to the NFL, we're going to talk about some teams and then break that along with the divisions as well as going over some news. Yeah, it should be a really fun one today, so without any further ado, let's hop right into it. But yeah, like I said, without any further ado, we'll talk about the games. They'll take us to Thursday night between the... Definitely haven't pulled up, and I'm not pulling it up right now because it took forever. Cowboys, Giants. That was a lot closer game than I feel like a lot of people thought it was. Cowboys are coming off blowing out the Giants the last two times the teams met. This game was a little bit closer. I don't know. The Giants just don't like scoring touchdowns. It took them forever to... I don't even think they scored... I was about to say, they haven't scored a touchdown yet this year, and then I realized, wait, you realize Malik Neighbors has scored touchdowns for you, right, idiot? But no, this was another game for them where it's kind of funny. Coming off a Commanders game where they held the Commanders to only field goals and the Commanders win, the Giants were kind of like, let's try that ourselves. They lose 20-15, not able to score any touchdowns. Cowboys get their 7th straight win over the Giants. I don't think there's really too much more to go into that. Rico Dowdle showed some promise in the running game a little bit. Generally not too much to take away from this game. Both two teams when it comes to the end of the season, I don't know how much they're going to do, especially the Giants. I think the Giants are going to be down. The Cowboys, that run game is going to really become an issue with them down the road, so we're going to have to see. But past that, right now, not too much to dig into this game. Cowboys are 2-2, Giants are 1-3. I think a lot of people thought this would be that case at this game, so yeah, we don't need to spend too much time on it. We'll go over the Raiders are open to trade apparently Devontae Adams now. Vegas reportedly reaching out to teams to gauge interest. Wow. I don't think he'll go to the Chiefs. I was really about to say that's probably a Chief because they really need wide receivers, but I don't think the Raiders are going to trade him in division. I don't think there's any chance that happens. So he might be a Jet. That'll be something interesting to keep an eye on. Anyway, we'll talk about the Raiders here in a minute. Ravens, Bills, we can talk about this game quickly. It was a Sunday night game. I just want to talk about it because it's 35-10. Ravens basically get back to form. First play, 87 yards to the house to hand it off to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry outrunning guys. Kind of shocking to see. So that's like, okay, so Derrick Henry's still Derrick Henry. Shout out to your boy. I had Patrick Ricard anytime touchdown at plus 4,200. 10 to win 430 off him falling off the end zone, or falling on the end zone. That ball in the end zone. Man, English. But yeah, falling on the ball in the end zone gave me some money. That was really, really awesome. Because past that, I'll admit, I was on the Bills completely wrong about that. They just got waxed. They were on a streak of I want to say it was close to 10 games or so that they were only lost by single digits if they lost. And yeah, they just got absolutely embarrassed in this one. My biggest concern is the defense, I think. The biggest takeaway from this is the Bills offense is going to be good. It had a bad game. It's whatever. The Ravens defense is really, really good as well. But man, that defense not being able to get off the field, not being able to stop the run, that's something going to be very concerned about because, the Ravens, both backs were able to get it done. Justice Hill, 4 for 18. Lamar, 6 for 54 touchdown. Derrick Henry, 24 for 199 and a touchdown. Justice Hill had 6 receptions for 78 and a touchdown in the receiving game. The backs just absolutely killed the Buffalo Bills. And that's going to be something to keep an eye on moving forward in the season because, if they're not going to be able to stop the run, that's going to be an issue. And they look really, really gettable in the middle of the field, which is a problem. Usually, it's like, our right side's kind of weak. That's kind of an issue. Our left side has some holes here and there. But have a hole in the middle of the field, yeah, that's kind of concerning. Moving forward, though, first game we'll talk about just because I obviously have a favorited. Colts-Steelers. Colts go up very early, 17-3. Going into halftime, Anthony Richardson hurt again. Really hate to see it. Thankfully, it's only a hit pointer. He should hopefully be okay. But, man, it's going to get to the point where, as a Colts fan, every game I watch now, it's going to be, okay, thank God. I can't do it, man. It's starting to... It's tough. It's honestly really tough because I love Anthony Richardson. I want him to get these snaps, and, man, he keeps getting hurt. Another scary injury, Jonathan Taylor. Ankle sprain. They said it's only a mild or a mid. It's a mild high ankle sprain. Yeah. As a guy who's sprained his ankles a lot before, knowing that sucks. And being a guy who has a history of spraining his ankles now because he sprained his ankles so much, that sucks. Jonathan Taylor, a guy who sprained his ankles a lot, seems to be probably his biggest bugaboo, I would say, as an injury, is that he just his ankles, which makes sense for running back. But his ankles get hurt a lot, so it's going to be interesting to see if he ends up missing time, if at all. Anthony Richardson should miss time, but wouldn't be shocked if he took a week off. I don't think he will, but I wouldn't be totally shocked. Joe Flacco did all right stepping in. The run game was not nearly as effective because all of a sudden everyone's like, all right, they're handing it off to the running back. So that part of the game went down. The passing game went up, though. With Joe Flacco in, passing went up and looked a little bit better. Running went down. That was my biggest scare was they couldn't run the ball really at all when Joe Flacco was in. And defensively, they let the Steelers back into it a little bit. Did not like... there was specifically one play where Latu rushed inside, and Justin Fields just simply... The second he rushed inside, Fields just goes, whoop, and then scores a touchdown. He's a young guy. Hopefully that gets fixed, but, man, you hated to see that. There was some stuff that just sucked to see defensively when Steelers started slowly coming back, but thankfully the Colts did just enough to win. Like I said, Jonathan Taylor, big day for him, 21 carries for 88 and a touchdown. Josh Downs for 8 receptions on 9 targets for 82 and a touchdown. Frymuth was 5 for 57 and a touchdown. A tight end finally showing up, which is amazing to see because tight ends, especially in the fantasy world, they've been non-existent for whatever reason, and they've been playing like butt cheeks. But yeah, big win for the Colts. Hopefully Anthony Richardson will be okay. Shouldn't miss much time. Justin Fields, for a minute, it was like, this is why we need Russ in. But then, slowly later, it's like, oh, okay. So Justin Fields is still okay then. So I'm assuming they're going to stick with Justin Fields still, even if Russ was healthy. But, man, this was a tough game for the Colts. A lot of guys beat up. Really, really scared. Not like that. I'm curious to see if Trey Sermon's going to end up getting some touches now. Very, very excited for Adonai Mitchell. He had a lot of targets from Joe Flacco. Very excited to see how he goes upcoming. And then for the Steelers, they play the Jags next week. The Colts play the Jags in Jacksonville. For those of you who know, Colts haven't won in Jacksonville in like 500 years. Since Jesus turned water into wine, the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville. So it's about time that they get this done. I think it's actually been since 2018 is the real stat. But anyway, it's been a long, long while with how bad the Jaguars are. Everyone said it's supposed to be a kitchen sink game last week. They lose. If the we'll talk about the Jags in a minute, but the Jags lose, man. Because that's the one thing they've had is like we beat the Colts in Jacksonville a lot of years in a row. If they lose that game, oh man, it's gonna be tough. Shout out to the Colts though. They improved to 2-2. It's funny. Our division now: Texans 3-1, Colts 2-2, 0-3 the rest of the two. Steelers ahead of their division in the AFC North. This was a great game, honestly. It was a fun comeback. Cool to see some of the guys in the game. Like you saw Big Ben was at the Colts Stadium. See Joe Flacco. A little bit of blast to the past from my childhood, so that was awesome to see. Vikings, they were up 28-7 at halftime. The final score ends up being 29-31. They win. Literally looks like a game of college football where you're up big in the first half, then all of a sudden do nothing in the second half. The other team has 20 points in the fourth quarter, and it's like, oh, it actually was a close game, when in reality it wasn't. Man, so the Vikings are really good, huh? It's starting to get to that point now where it's like, I can't deny them anymore. Each week I say, all right, this is the test. All right, this is the test. All right, this is the... Okay, I see them. Especially, I won't lie to you, I was actually looking forward to picking the Jets next week in the International Series, but man... We'll talk about the Jets in a minute. I might have to go Vikings. Sam Darnold does it again. 20 for 28, 275, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jordan Love, 32 for 54, 389, 4 touchdowns. Got to boost the stats a little bit. Really disappointed Aaron Jones was able to get in the end zone. Josh Jacobs still hasn't got a chance to do a Lambeau leap, so I feel like Josh Jacobs is going to be due to score here soon. But yeah, the Vikings are just the truth, man. This game got out of hand quickly. This game was over pretty much at half. By the way, Shane Steichen is 3-0 against the Steelers. I don't know if I brought that up, but I believe he is 3-0 now against the Steelers, 4-0 potentially even coaching against them. So he has something on Tomlin. So that's going to be something I wanted to just bring up to be like, hey, keep that in the back of your memory banks. That as of right now, it looks like Shane Steichen might have something on Tomlin. But to go back to this game, I want to look at Sam Darnold MVP odds because my goodness, man. He is balling out, dude. It's absolutely unbelievable. Sorry, I got distracted by some WNBA futures. Shout out. We need to shout out to the WNBA, by the way. I'm looking this up still, but shout out to WNBA. They're in their playoffs. Shout out to the MLB starting their playoffs. Sports are getting wild right now. But like I said, if you want to look at the Heisman, actually they might not have it up. I might, or it's under. I did it again. It's under season awards. MVP Sam Darnold's now 11-1. I admit I put a little sprinkle on Brock Purdy 16-1 just because, hey, maybe the 49ers get it going. But yeah, Sam Darnold's been playing absolutely insane. That's the biggest thing I wanted to bring up from this Viking game. It's just good, crazy how good their defense is as well. I mean, Jordan Addison 3 targets, 72, also and scored a touchdown on the ground and in the air, I believe. I'm in disbelief with how shot. I mean, it's just the Vikings are pretty legit. Now it's gonna be a watch. Of course, Sam Darnold finally has turned into a pumpkin, does bad, but we'll have to see. Like I said, I mentioned this last week. His first 4 or 5 weeks with the Panthers were also really good before he fell off a cliff a bit. So I'm still gonna keep an eye on him. It's like one of those. It's like you caught your best. It doesn't even have to be best friend. You just caught one of your friends in a lie, and you know they're lying, but they might not be telling the truth, actually, but it's one of the situations like you're 90% sure they're lying, but they're acting just truthful enough to where it's like, maybe you aren't lying, maybe I am wrong. That's how I feel with Sam Darnold, where it's like, maybe you know what, maybe I'm just wrong, but I'm gonna stay on my side of the fence for right now. I'm gonna keep peeping into his yard and be like, man, that Sam Darnold party looks a lot of fun. Might eventually go into the party and join in on the Sam Darnold hype, but as for right now, I'm still fully not there, but man, this NFC North is going to be fun. I mean, the Vikings are going to be legit. If Sam Darnold keeps playing like this, I mean, they're going to be a legit team. Justin Jefferson's still there. I mean, man, it's going to be, like I said, we talked about it a little bit last week with their stretch, but I mean, they got a nice stretch now. Jets, bye, Lions, Rams, Colts, Jags, Titans, Bears. I mean, this is, I think the Vikings are probably going to be a really good team. If I had to bet, I think I bet them and the Saints to not make the playoff. I talked about that bet a few weeks ago. I think I'm going to stick with the Saints on that one, which really, because the Vikings look legit. Moving on, Jaguars, they were up 20-17 for a lot of the second half, and then they ended up just blowing it late. DJ Stroud with 22 seconds left scores a touchdown. Sorry, I was trying to look up the time. 22 seconds left to Agumbawale. Man, Trevor Lawrence 18 for 33, 169, 2 touchdowns. Dude. They might be broken. Biggest takeaway, shout out to the Texans. They stayed resilient, were able to come back. Just grimy, man. It's kind of what they did last year, where it's like they didn't look the best all game. They looked okay-ish, and then all of a sudden, and C.J. Stroud took over. Kind of looked okay, kind of have the lead, kind of doubt, and C.J. Stroud took over. Nico Collins, stud, man. Absolutely a stud. Stud muffin at that. I mean, he's just insanely good right now. C.J. Stroud and him, great connection. I hope Tank Dell is going to be able to get a part of that. As a guy who has Tank Dell in fantasy. But, man, go back to the Jaguars. What is going on with them? Trevor Lawrence doesn't look right. The Doug Peterson press conference afterwards. I mean, you want to talk about backing up that bus, and then, I mean, he was running bumps on his players, talking about, like, this is not exactly what it was, but basically, he was like, the coaches can only do so much, and the players also have to do something as well. That wasn't the exact wording, but he basically came out and said, well, we can only do so much as play callers. The players have to come out and execute as well. Which tells you all you need to know about the situation in Jacksonville. Doug Peterson is on hot seat alert. We just talked about this a little bit when I talked about the Colts section. If they lose to the Colts in Jacksonville, which hasn't happened in years, I mean, it's going to be a serious issue. They've lost now games going back to last year. I think it's almost 11 in a row now, 10 to 12 in a row. Somewhere in that range. I mean, it is disgusting how bad it's getting in Jacksonville. This needs to be fixed. I don't know if it's coaching. They just paid Trevor Lawrence too. I don't know if it's ownership. I don't know what the issue is. I mean, personally for me, I won't get you wrong. I think Trevor Lawrence is a good, not great quarterback. He's top 15, top 20, I would say. And when I say top 15, I'm talking 15, 14, 13 maybe. I don't think he is. I think he's a good NFL quarterback. I'll be honest. There would be a lot of years where the Colts had quarterback after Phillip Rivers where it's like, I would take Trevor Lawrence, yes. I also just don't think that the coaching fit has been the best. I think that Urban Meyer year must have really done something to him, man, because he's starting to regress now to back where he was during his rookie year. I don't know what's going on with him. I know, obviously, the NFL as a whole is different too now. The way you expect rookies to come in and what they're expected to do now versus what they were expected to do before is vastly different when it comes to like reading a defense now. Instead of, coming in like knowing how to beat defenses and then getting fit into a system where it's like, okay, now I'm in this system, I need to figure out the system. Now it's more of, okay, so this player was a running guy in college who ran the RPO very well. Let's run an RPO system now to make it better for him. And then all of a sudden when the RPO gets shut down, it's like, well, we got to find a way to scheme it open versus, all right, this guy has all the answers to the test. He'll be able to figure it out. That's been the biggest change lately. I don't know if that has anything to do with Trevor Lawrence. I'm starting to question now a bit. It's like, man, what is going on with Trevor Lawrence? That's going to be something, man, that's going to be probably the first thing. I need to write that down. That's probably going to be one of the first things we talk about this summer. If the Jacks continue to be bad and they fire a new coach, it's like, is Trevor Lawrence broken? That's going to be an interesting story to follow along with this season, obviously. Something we're definitely going to come back to because, they're 0-for in the division. 0-for overall record as well. Them and Titans finally got a win, actually, on Monday night. That's a game we're briefly going to talk about. That game was disgusting, but they're the last-place team in the division. Don't get me wrong. I had them at third, so I'm not – if you were following along with me and you were listening along, we kind of had a feeling this happened, but, man, we didn't think it was going to get this ugly. Moving on, shout out to the Texans. Big win, like I said, for the Jags. They got some soul searching to do. Chicago Bears beat the Rams 24-18. Caleb Williams has a pretty decent game overall. 17 for 23, 157-1. Nothing too crazy, but for a rookie, not a bad game at all. The running game was really where it's at. DeAndre Swift, 16 for 93 on the ground. Hey! Boy actually ran the ball really efficiently. That's pretty awesome for the Bears. And then for the Rams, they got nobody left, man. They're dealing with so many injuries. Matt Stafford, 20 for 29. No touchdowns. 1 interception. Kyron Williams, 19 rushes, 94 yards, and a touchdown. Tutu Atwell, really close to the end zone again. Doesn't score for us. Man, we're getting so close with him. So it's just this Rams team, like I said, they're so beat up at this point that... Also, I forgot to talk about Green Bay potentially getting rid of their kicker. We might have to talk about that later on. But... man, I don't really have too many takeaways from this game. Kind of disappointed / shocked that the Rams didn't cover. Also, at the same time, with how many injuries they have, it's not too shocking at all. It's just going to have to be... there's really not much you can take away from this game, honestly, other than the fact that, hey, the Bears got a big win, good for them. Now they go on and play the Panthers. Can they make it 2 in a row? Because, they won a game that they... realistically, I didn't think they were going to win that game, and they were going to win it. So my takeaway from it is, like, hey, they're able to win some of these games that they, realistically, they're favored by 3, they won and they covered. So they did what they were supposed to do, which is very important, especially for a Bears team that is struggling to block on offense, struggling to do a lot of other stuff. The fact they were able to get this done, big win for them. As for the Rams, it's just getting worse and worse for them, boy. Man, and they now play against the Packers. Then they get a bye. Then it's Raiders, Vikings, Seahawks. It's going to be a rough little stretch for the Rams. Moving forward now, we got the Saints lose 24-26 to the Falcons. Falcons win off a 58-yard kick from Younghoe Koo. That boy. Shout out to whoever dropped him in our fantasy league. In my main league, somebody dropped him, got 20 points off the way. I originally had Greg the Leg, had no kicker at all, and somebody dropped Younghoe Koo after a bad first week, and man, my guy. I actually do love Koo, though, personally. Way side note, Prize Pick actually, Prize Picks I used to love Prize Picks for the kicking props at halftime. They used to have it to where it's just half a point, to where it basically was like, okay, or just half a field goal made. So you basically just have to kick a field goal and make it in the second half, and now it's kicking points, so where it's like, basically the kicker needs to kick a field goal and a PAT because it's over 3.5 points. They made it impossible now. It used to be fun where it's like, I would always have Younghoe Koo and a bunch of other guys for basically just make a field goal in the second half, and it wins. I used to love doing that on Prize, but can't do it anymore. But man, the Saints... they scored 38 points, gave up 2 to the Falcons. Derek Carr intercepted, pick 6. And then there's also a fumble 6 they gave up. Past that, the Falcons only kicked field goals. Really, really weird, man. The Falcons are a weird team. They still have some gelling to do, obviously. Still need some time on offense, but man. Weird team. They're able to get the win, though. Big win for them. As for the Saints, not too shocking they lost. I will admit, they had a chance to win it, though, and steal it, which is good for them, I would say. That they at least had a chance to. They just need the defense to get stopped, and the defense almost got stopped but obviously they didn't because Young Hoku kicked a 58-yard field goal to win it. Really not too much to take away from the game. Tough division battle. Both teams are 2-2 now. I mean, it was just felt like a much-needed win for the Falcons. For the Saints, it's just one that's like, man, that sucks to lose for the division because this is going to be a big tiebreaker game. But like I told you, I expect the Saints to lose this one, potentially win the next one. Taysom Hill scores 2 touchdowns, then gets out and gets hurt. My biggest takeaway from the Saints, my boy Rowan, shout out. The Higher Saints fan watches every game. We could score in the red zone without Taysom Hill. With Taysom Hill, without Taysom Hill, our red zone offense is sketchy. That's basically the text I got from Rowan. So that's my understanding is, the second they get in the red zone, if they don't have Taysom Hill, it's going to be a hard time to score. And like I said, I don't think the Saints are going to make the playoffs. I still think this is going to be about 7-10, 10-7, at best 10-17, but I think it's going to be 7-10. So all this game does pretty much proves me right. We got our win with the Falcons. I think I picked them to win the division, so we got to win with them. I kind of assumed what happened here, and now it's like, all right, now the Falcons have a chance if they can steal the next division game. That man, they go up 2-0 on the Saints. I feel like that's then they just got to split with the Bucs, and I feel like the division is theirs because I don't think the Panthers are going to be in competition. 2 games we really don't have to talk about. Bucs 33-16. Shout out to Baker Mayfield, 30 for 47, 347, 2 touchdowns. Basically just pulled out that thing from his pants and laid it on the Eagles' forehead. Eagles just, from the beginning, just got boat raced. There was a play where you literally, the announcer team mentioned, you could just see that the Eagles defenders were tired. They're basically just standing up on the D-line, just kind of standing there. And Baker's just sitting there all day. And then, guys open throw. And then another play. It's just, it was just a domination by the Bucs. Apparently, for what it's starting to become one of those things where the Bucs just own Eagles, especially in Tampa Bay. The Bucs just absolutely own them. I'm kind of ashamed now. I picked the Eagles with the effort they put out there. Basically, they might as well not shown up. Damn near. So we got a lot of issues with the Eagles, but they're going to a bye. They didn't have the receivers either. They're basically missing their whole receiving core. Devonta Smith was out. A.J. Brown was out. Landon Dickerson was out. So, Lane Johnson was out, not Landon Dickerson. Lane Johnson was out. So, like I said, they were dealing with a bunch of injuries, but man. More questions were asked than answered in this game when it came to the Eagles. And as for the Bucs, I just thought it was a great win for them. Mike Evans scores another touchdown for our season total over. Bucky Irving looks like he's going to be getting a lot more carries. That's going to be a fun guy to watch. I think if they're able to get him going in the run game, it's going to be really, really helpful for the Bucs. As good as Rashad White is, not the best runner on the ground. Bengals, they won 34-24 over the Panthers. Much needed win. Don't expect anything from the Panthers. We don't need to go over this game too much. Kind of split the running back workload when it comes to the Bengals, so that's going to be interesting to see who takes over. Carolina Panthers-wise, they were still able to run the ball somewhat effectively. 18 for 104 with Chuba Hubbard. Deontay Johnson, 7 for 83. Biggest thing I want to bring up, Jamar Chase, by the way, 3 receptions, 85 and a touchdown. But big win for the Bengals. They move on. They needed to win here, absolutely. Not shocked the Panthers lost, but Deontay Johnson was... the Steelers originally got questions about the Chiefs when it comes to Deontay Johnson. Like, the Chiefs reached out, like, hey, what are your interests in trading Deontay Johnson? Obviously, the Steelers came out and said, we're not trading him to the, especially division, but we're for sure not trading him to the damn Chiefs. So, with injuries at Chiefs to wide receiver, which we haven't got to that Chiefs game yet, be on the lookout for Deontay Johnson potentially be on the move. I might write an article about this, but Deontay Johnson to the Chiefs, oddly enough, after hearing that the Steelers already talked to the Chiefs about him, that could be a move we see. Adam Thielen even got brought up by Adam Schefter. It's like, oh. But this, like I said, we'll talk about it in a minute, but the Chiefs are for sure in the receiver market. Broncos, they win 10-9 over the Jets. Sloppy rain game. Really, Bo Nix at one point was 7 for 12 for -7 yards passing. And they won the game. The Jets might have a little bit more issues than we thought. I don't know. I really didn't get too many eyes on this game. This is one of the games that got sacrificed on my TV because I genuinely thought the Jets would win. Oh, wow. I got no words. I'm just kind of shook with how bad this game was for both sides. I cannot believe that. I just can't believe the Jets didn't score, man. They couldn't score a touchdown against the Denver Broncos defense. Which, okay, the Denver Broncos defense seemingly is pretty good now at this point. It's like, all right, they're locking teams up. Your defense held the Broncos to 10. You got to give hats off. The Jets defense played amazing, but you lose 10-9. My biggest reason is how was Aaron Rodgers not able to convert that at the end of the game? End of the game, they're basically on the other side of midfield. They get up literally 5 to 10 more yards. It kicks in, but they can't get that 3rd and 6 converted. They can't get those 5 or 6 yards. It's just man, what's going on? Garrett Wilson, he's having good moments. Great receiver, but I was waiting for him to take that step, be like, all right, he should be a guy with a really good quarterback, and he's a guy. He's not a guy, though, like I said, so it's just weird. The Jets team just continues to get weird. They've had a really tough schedule. I understand Patrick Surtain was on him as well, so I can't, harp on Wilson too much. He had one of the best corners in the league on him, but, man, I just want to see more from this Jets team. That's my biggest thing. I just want to see more from their offense. I wish their offense would just give me a little more, man. Give me a bit more. Jaden Daniels, wow, 42-14 beat down the Commanders had. Punters punted once in the last 3 games. Cardinals started hot with the pass to Marvin Harrison Jr., and then it was all Commanders after that. Brian Robinson touchdown. McNichols, I about said Jerry McNichols. I actually don't. Jeremy McNichols scored one of his 2 touchdowns early. Jaden Daniels even added in a rushing touchdown. Man, Jaden Daniels has been fun to watch. The Commanders told us early on in the offseason, and us as I mean apparently the audience and the viewers of the NFL, all that, they told us that if they had the number 1 pick, they would have took Jaden Daniels, and boy, it's starting to look like they made the right choice. Don't get me wrong, Caleb Williams is good, but wow. Jaden Daniels on the year is just putting up some stupid numbers. In the season so far, he has an 87% completion rate, I believe. 82%. 87 for 106 passing, 897 yards. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He has a few rushing touchdowns as well. 4 rushing touchdowns on the ground. I mean, Jaden Daniels' his offense is super. It's fun. It's a lot of fun to watch. We took the over on the show with the Commanders, so it's looking great on that so far. We only got 4 games to go now to hit the over of, I think it was 6.5. Was it 6.5 or 7.5? I think the over was 6.5. We just didn't go 7-10. Wow. I just can't get over how good they look. Their defense is still pretty bad. They obviously have some upgrades there, but offensively, like, if they can keep Jaden Daniels healthy, this Commanders team is going to be a problem. We're going to be talking about this team, I think, a lot going forward. When it comes to NFC East, I mean, damn, dude, they might win the division, huh? 9-8 could win that division, and right now, it's between the Commanders and Eagles, and I really don't trust the Eagles a lot right now, which is crazy to say that, man. Commanders might be the best team in the NFC East. Crazy. Shout out to them. 49ers beat the Patriots 30-13, excuse me. Jacoby Brissett makes it through the season. That's going to be a miracle. I mean, dude is just getting destroyed back there. I wonder when we're going to see Drake May. I feel like we'll see him sooner rather than later, but as of right now, still Jacoby Brissett. And the 49ers get a big win. Expected to win here, 10-point favorites, and they handled business. Raiders, Browns. Man, Browns are officially 11 for 53 on 3rd down this year with Deshaun Watson. Oh boy. The Deshaun Watson experiment might be time to go. It's weird because Mark Cooper had a 80-something yard touchdown called back on a holding penalty that makes this game almost so completely different for the Browns where it's like, holy shit, they came back and were able to win, but instead, they did nothing the whole second half but 2 field goals, and everyone's wondering now, like, man, what the hell are we doing on offense? I mean, this was just an ugly game from both sides offensively. I mean, we're talking 176 passing yards by Deshaun, 130 passing yards with no touchdowns for the winning quarterback. The winning quarterback in the Bronco-Jets game had 60 passing yards. It's a weird time in the NFL right now. Yeah, I don't got much to say in this game. The Raiders were able to get massive win for the Raiders to be able to win this game at home. And defend the home. Browns really could use this one on the road. Now they lose another one. Starting to slip a little bit. They're 1-3 now. Excuse me. Nick Chubb is coming back to practice, but they got the Commanders, Eagles, Bengals, and Ravens on deck, and then the Chargers before their bye. I don't know. At a certain point, I just wonder if they're even going to bench him at this point. We're going to need some shakeup in Cleveland soon. I mean, they need some shakeup on offense because offensively they are just not doing things right. Travis Kelce becomes the Chiefs' all-time leader in receptions with 917, surpassing Tony Gonzalez. Shout out to him. Chiefs won 17-10, one of Mahomes' worst games. I think, fantasy-wise, because, he finished 19 for 29, 245, 101. But I thought I saw something where fantasy, like he had one of his worst fantasy days of the year. Receiver-wise, David Worthy, leading receiver, 3 for 73 and a touchdown off the bomb play pretty much. Oh, man, the biggest thing to take away from this game, tough division battle. Chiefs somehow win another game that is just grimy and disgusting. Chargers were able to keep it close, but it just always felt like, no matter what they did, it always just felt like, yep, Chiefs are going to find a way to win this. Yep, they're going to find a way, and sure enough, they do. Biggest injury news for the Chiefs, man. Rashee Rice. Yeah, like I said, scary injury to Rashee Rice. Basically, he goes up top trying to strip it on the defender, Mahomes. Being the quarterback, didn't want to obviously hurt himself too much, or he just kind of goes for a quick little into the legs, throw his whole body into it. Instead, he hits Rashee Rice, leg bends awkwardly. They're basically able to say there's put no weight on it. And you know it's bad when coaches are usually very vague. They try to keep everything in. It's like, we're doing some tests, so hopefully come back in the second half. He's able to play well to see. Immediately, Andy Reid goes, it's not good. Not very good. So that's how you immediately know it's a problem. Sounds like they're going to miss him for the whole rest of the season, which really, really sucks for them. Because, yeah, now Rashee Rice was basically doing what Kelsey did, but he's almost damn near 10 years younger than Kelsey. Especially his football career, he's so much younger. So he was a lot more explosive. And he literally was doing the Travis Kelsey role, where he's basically grew. I gotta be careful using that word now, but he's basically grown up in the Kelsey role behind Kelsey, groomed to be in that role specifically for Kelsey to basically take a step back and be there towards the end of the season. But now they're going to need Kelsey a little bit more. I mean, they're going to need a lot from the running game. Carson Steele's fumbled again, so it's going to be curious to see if they go running back by committee now. Because I don't think anybody's too crazy in the rushing game. I mean, Kareem Hunt 14 for 69, that's pretty good. P. Ryan 5 for 14. Yeah, Steele was 2 for 6. Holy shit. I've just got the power through these yawns. I've stopped like 4 times now to yawn the last like 5 minutes, and it keeps happening. We're going to try to power through and stay awake. But, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do from the rushing game. They're missing. I mean, it's the Chiefs. They're going to probably find a way to win. But, man, this is the for sure year to get them now. They've had some really, really sad injuries. That wasn't the Sunday night game. That was right before Sunday. I forgot we talked about Sunday night game. Monday night, Titans beat the Dolphins 31-12. So the Dolphins just don't have a quarterback. I thought Tyler Huntley was going to be somewhat okay and be able to run that offense. He underthrew Tyreek Hill really, really bad. And Tyreek Hill's like, hey, throw it farther. And then he overthrew Tyreek Hill, I think, twice. It was just as frustrating as be for Dolphins offense. Titans look really good with Mason Rudolph starting. So now it's a question, is Will Levis going to even come back? They said, well, 9 for 17 for 85, 14 for 22 for 96 for the quarterbacks in this game. Quarterback play is down, boy. But at least this was 2 backups. Callahan did come out and say Will Levis is our guy 100% as long as he's healthy. If he's not healthy, I'm assuming they're going back to Rudolph. But past that, man, this guy, I wouldn't even lie to you. I basically quit watching this game. I think I quit watching this game about 9-3, then it became 9-6. And then it became very clear that, Huntley is not going to be able to move this offense at all. I don't blame him. I mainly blame the coaching for the fact that instead of McDaniel, conforming to, like, a lot of these, I'm not going to say good coaches are doing, is they're like, hey, we got to, like, for example, Steichen. All right, I got Joe Flacco in here. Aren't going to be able to run it as much with Joe Flacco on his QB stuff. We need to pass it more, so they did a bit more pass pace. I wish I sold out the Dolphins. Instead, the Dolphins just kind of, McDaniel said, no, we're going to do what we do. You just got to figure it out, and their offense isn't working too good, so that's kind of concerning. You would hope that, hey, he would adjust and maybe, all right, let's change up the offense a bit so my guy can get something here. But like I said, big win for the Titans. That, yeah, up to this point, we're seeking a big win. And the fact that they won without Will Levis, now it's like, that boy going to be starting anymore? Final game, this one was actually a really exciting shootout. Lions win 42-29. Geno Smith, 2. Man, I had DK to score. I really felt like DK or Jackson Smith and Jigbo were going to score those last 2 drives, but I think 2 late picks kind of seal it. Jared Goff sets an NFL record with 18 for 18 passes. I didn't realize it was an... yeah, that's an NFL record. I didn't realize that. That's insane. Kurt Warner had previous league mark for the most passes without an incompletion, going 10 for 10. Yeah, Goff went 18 for 18 in that game. Basically that just shows you, I even talked about how good the Seahawks defense kind of was, but they just basically didn't get him off his spot. Betting-wise, all the picks I gave out for this on Stayed On Sports, shout out. We cleaned it up pretty nice. Got a Monty touchdown. Man, I even bet him first. I didn't give it out, but I bet him first, so that was nice. Kenneth Walker, he was able to score for us. DK hit an over for us. Longest reception to Jameson Williams on that bomb. That was awesome. This was truly a fun back and forth game. My only complaint was Geno Smith threw it to a bunch of guys I didn't bet on, which really sucks. The one game where I don't bet on the I didn't bet on who scored here. Oh, it was a safety, my fault. But yeah, I didn't bet on Kenneth Walker scored 3 touchdowns. That kind of also killed it. I didn't bet on Barner at tight end. I bet on DK. DK gets tackled at the 1. I bet on Jake Bobo. Jake Bobo gets tackled at the 1. So we were really close to that. But overall, this was a really fun, exciting matchup. Both offense really exploded. Both defense struggled a little bit, but when it mattered most, the Lions defense were able to get a few key stops. Can't say the same for the Seahawks defense, obviously, because Jared Goff was 18 for 18. Do whatever you want. David Montgomery's now scored. Excuse me by the way. I don't know. Literally at the close to the end-ish, and I just can't stay awake. Holy shit. Man. DK Metcalf's now in an NBA Jam for 100 receiving yards, 3 games in a row. David Montgomery's in an NBA Jam for touchdowns. Man, Kenneth Walker getting 3 in a game is crazy. That's probably really good for season over. But yeah, it's a really exciting week now. So if we're looking at divisions real quick to end the week before we burn through some news real quick that I missed. Standing-wise, Bills are 3-1. Jets are 2-2 behind them in the AFC East. Steelers 3-1, Ravens 2-2 behind them. Texans 3-1, Colts 2-2 behind them. Chiefs 4-0, and then you got the Chargers and Broncos and Raiders all at 2-2. So the AFC West is kind of a tight race for second. NFC East-wise, you got the Commanders at 3-1, and it's 2-2 for the Cowboys and Eagles. Vikings are 4-0 with the Lions 3-1 behind them. That's probably the best division by far. Both of the other teams are 2-2. Bucks 3-1, Falcons are 2-2, Saints are 2-2. That's basically going to be a 3-team race for the division, in my opinion. Man, I need to move this microphone a little bit closer to my mouth. I forgot about that. My apologies. Seahawks 3-1, 49ers 2-2 behind them. I assume that it's going to be a race between those two right now. But yeah, that pretty much, I think, does it for the NFL. There's not big news. We just talked about Devontae Adams being traded. That is pretty massive. If he does get traded, they're at least going to look for it. Apparently, McDaniel said everything's on the table when it comes to offensive struggles. There'll be things that will change. Hard to say what those things are. I don't even know what they've changed at this point. They finally moved their quarterback. Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know what they changed. They finally changed the quarterback. They still look bad. So at certain points, like, makes you think McDaniel might need to adjust a little bit. We talked about Jared Goff making history. Will Levis injured shoulder. Rashee Rice, still unsure about the timeline as of right now. I don't even think I still don't think that they've said anything fully. I think the rumor was ACL, MCL. I'm pretty sure it's ACL. But yeah, it's just really weird that we're like, usually by now they're like, all right, confirmed Torciello out for the season. The fact they still haven't, confirmed it could be potential promising news. Man, I truly wonder if he did fully tear it or not. It's going to be something to keep an eye on. Because, yeah, the fact they have not announced it yet, usually that gets announced pretty quick. So that's potentially promising for him. McCaffrey has Achilles tendonitis in both legs. That's really concerning because now the injuries just get worse and worse and worse. Or at least pile up. Now it went from calf to Achilles, now both Achilles. Man, they still should be back by November, though. Anthony Richardson day-to-day with oblique and abdominal strains. I'm assuming he'll play this week. Cowboys pressing to play Steelers without Parsons. I'm assuming that, yeah, Michael Parsons probably not going to play this week against the Steelers. Man, that's going to be a tough loss for them. DeMarcus Lawrence is already out. With Rashee Rice out, Chiefs spread the ball around. That makes sense. Saleh walks back. Concerns over Rodgers' cadence. Yeah, Saleh just needs to... I'm not even going to get into the Saleh BS at this point where he's like, we need to change our cadence up instead of, talking to the players about execution. This guy puts his own foot in his mouth all the time. Vrabel needs to be the coach of the Jets. I would love to see Vrabel the coach of that team. Lamar, nothing really there. Baker comes out and says the Brady comments were taken out of context, which makes a lot of sense. Because, yeah, those comments did sound pretty wild when I heard him, like, he really said that? Okay. High ankle sprain for Jonathan Taylor. Don't know what's going to happen with Doug Peterson. And, yeah, that does about for the NFL. So moving on to college real quick. This will probably be a quick 15-20 minute burn. We'll go through the standings real quick. Man, shout out them Army boys leading the American Athletic Conference at 3-0. Them and Navy ahead of the conference at 3-0 in conference play. Whew, that's going to be fun. But we're going to look at the AP Top 25. Alabama moves to 1 after being at number 4. Texas moves to number 2 after being at number 1. Ohio State stays at 3. Not too shocking there. Tennessee moves up to 4 now. They were at 5. Georgia moves up to 5. Moves down to 5 with their loss. Oregon at 6, Penn State at 7, the U at 8, Mizzou at 9, Michigan at 10. I really don't agree with that too much. In the coaches poll, they even have Michigan at 10. I don't agree with that, man. USC is at 11, Ole Miss at 12, LSU 13, Notre Dame, Clemson, Iowa State, BYU, Utah, Oklahoma, and then Kansas State rounds out the top 20. Boise State 21. Shout out to Ashton Gentry. My goodness, dude. That kid is insane. I gotta stop with them for a minute. Yeah, I gotta read you these stats real quick for a boy. Ashton Gentry. 82 attempts, 845 yards, averaging 10 to carry for 13 touchdowns. The second place guy is 200 yards behind him. I'm pissed, dude. We'll finish the top 5 real quick. 22 Louisville, 23 Indiana, 24 Illinois, and they got a tie for 25 between UNLV and Texas A&M. So, I don't know. They both got 122 points. That's interesting. Huh. I don't think I've seen a tie before in the top 25. But the biggest thing with Ashton Gentry I'm so pissed about. No joke, before that Washington State game, he was plus 3,300 for the Heisman. Didn't bet it. Didn't even, just looked at it and be like, man. Like, it was one of those things where it's like, looking back at it, like, obvious hindsight, it's like, man, I wonder if future me was almost like time traveling to be like, hey, place it. Because I stared at it for a good minute. Didn't do anything with it. Didn't even think about it again. Looked the next day after I saw Ashton Gentry's stats. He's plus 1,000. It's like, man, I lost 2,300 points in value on that thing overnight. Ashton Gentry, I don't know if he's going to win it. He's at least probably going to get to New York. I think him and Travis Hunter almost locks to at least get to New York, especially with how well Colorado's been playing lately. I know we got to go over those games still, but man, college football is starting to really heat up. Heisman race is being fun. Milroe is the favorite for Heisman for a reason. I mean, holy hell, that kid looks special. Let's actually do that real quick. Before we go over some games, we'll look at a little bit of the aftermath and just see, like, college football playoff odds. Michigan almost blown it to Minnesota, by the way, too. That was scary. That's why I'm shocked they're number 10. They almost blew that. But the National Championship, Ohio State's plus 370, Bama plus 380. Got plus 500 for Bama, 550 Georgia. Oregon's plus 1,000. Tennessee's plus 1,000. Then past that, U's plus 1,800. I don't think we need to read much more past that. Same with Penn State. But yeah, Heisman-wise, you got Milroe plus 200. Cam Ward plus 500. He had a Heisman moment. Travis Hunter plus 600. That was plus 750 just a day or two ago. So that moved a lot. Ashton Gentry we talked about. Man, Dylan Gabriel's in there plus 1,800. Nico Iamaleava. We've been practicing, boy. I've been practicing. I tell you, been in the weird. Nico Iamaleava. Yeah, like I said, I would assume that's going to be probably Milroe, Cam Ward, Gentry, and then Travis Hunter, Dylan Gabriel, Nico Iamaleava. It's going to be between one of those. Two of those three, I think, are going to make it. One of those three won't. I wouldn't be shocked if it's... It just depends. Like, if Oregon slips a little bit, it's not going to be him. It's going to be Travis Hunter. But those are... Obviously, their odds are there for a reason. But I think this is about going to be the group. Man, college football has just been exciting. To make the actual playoff, they got Alabama now plus 12 or minus 1,200. Ohio State minus 1,000, minus 750 for Texas, minus 500 for Oregon. Georgia minus 290, Tennessee minus 310, minus 200 for Miami. Penn State's minus 170. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 8 of the 12. And you got Notre Dame plus 100 now. Ole Miss plus 110, Missouri plus 125, Clemson plus 150. I mean, man, Kansas State plus 350. That's probably a team I would like. Indiana plus 550 is not too bad at all. They'd have to be like a 10-2 though. That's gonna be tough. I'll admit, Colorado at plus 800 might not be bad. I bet Colorado to win their conference, and also to that might have actually changed now that I think about it. Yeah. Wow. Colorado moved. So this morning, I'm talking 10:30 this morning. I'm listening to shout out to Cover 3 podcast, doing my morning ritual of listening to them, kind of gauging my reactions to the weekend based off theirs. Be like, oh, I see who I view similar with. I like doing that for a side note for betting purposes. I like listening to, I listen to them all the way anyway, but I love listening to them and be like, oh, I kind of agree with Bud this week, so let me hear what Bud has to say about stuff. Oh, I agree with Tom this week, so I like doing stuff like that. They're talking about Colorado and all that. I know they weren't as high on them as I am this year, but I was like, man, they're really right about that. They can make the Big 12 at 9 or Big 12 playoff at 9-3. So I ended up betting it. Plus 1,200 is what I got it at. It is now plus 8,000 or plus 800. I can't even cash this out for an option. They just completely locked it. Went from plus 1,200 plus 800. man, you're talking a difference like 100 and what is that? $120 that is on the value. That's insane. And that got moved within like 4 hours. But moving on, I just want to bring that up. Exciting times right now. There's a lot of teams that could make the playoffs. I mean, it's really heating up now a little bit. We're starting to figure out who some of these teams are. Like I said, October, this upcoming weekend, shout out to WWE. They have Bad Blood coming up. I don't know why that just popped in my head, but because I was trying to think of dates. So there's that event this weekend. I think there's some UFC potentially this weekend as well. Next weekend, October 12th and October 19th, those are a really, really fun college football weekend. So, I mean, we're about that time. But to go over these games real quick, we had Army over Temple. We had the Army spread, I think, minus 13.5, 42-14, never a doubt. The U versus Virginia Tech, wild-ass finish where, in my opinion, it should have been an incomplete pass ruling. Call on the field stands in that order. But the fact they called it a touchdown, it's like, well, shit. The call on the field, I think, has to stand because I don't think that there's enough to overrule it, even though I thought from the beginning, it's like, oh, I think complete. They're on the out-of-bounds line, and the ball's moving some. But eventually, they called it a touch on the field. They overturned it, which is even more shocking. So it's like, oh, shit, okay. So that's kind of wild. Rutgers, 21-18 victory, and then that one for us. Purdue had this actually really close. It was 3-0 at half. Or Purdue was up 3-0 at one point, and then it became 21-10 just like that. Purdue is arguably one of the worst teams in the Big Ten and in college football right now. It's really, really sad how bad they are. I think they just fired their OC. They're moving forward with their new OC, Jason Simmons, after firing Graham Harrell. I don't know what that's going to do for them, but man, is it rough. Like I said, Michigan-Minnesota close game. Buffalo we've had them bet absolutely blown out. Boston College without Thomas Castellanos comes back to win by 1. Indiana, the wagon they are, they win 42-28 and cover. BYU wins against Baylor. That was a awesome game. 3-point dogs end up winning it on the road. Dave Aranda, hot seat. For sure on the hot seat now as Baylor's coach. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that because I don't know how much. Especially all these losses now, it's only a matter of time, it feels like, until he's gone. Oklahoma State embarrassed against Kansas State. It's to the point now where I'm done with this Oklahoma State team. I thought they were going to be potentially special, but between their quarterback, the offense, and their I'm done with them. Ole Miss, shocker. 15.5-point favorites, loses to Kentucky. Kentucky on the road beats Ole Miss. Wow. I don't even remember where I said Ole Miss in the rankings are at. Where are they at now? Are they not ranked? Oh, they're 12th now. I chalked that and drop a little bit farther, but yeah, that was very, very impressive win by Kentucky, honestly. South Florida gets waxed by Tulane. Impressive win by Tulane. Navy waxes UAB. These military academies are starting to become a little bit sexy. NC State wins 24-17 against NIU. That was very concerning. James Madison, another 60-pointer, wins 63-7 over Ball State. Texas State blew it against Sam Houston. I think they blew a 28-point lead from what I saw. They were at least up 22-0. I think they were even up 29-0. Yeah, absolutely blow it to lose 40-39. That's very concerning. USC comes back a little bit. They beats Wisconsin. Texas A&M, they beat Arkansas. TCU beats Kansas. Don't really need to talk about the rest of these. Shout out to Central Michigan for winning on a late field goal. I had the minus 1.5. They win by 1. You hate to see it. UNLV blow out Fresno State. UCF beat down by Colorado at home. Biggest thing out of this, Colorado has a run game. Holy shit. If Colorado's going to be able to keep up the run game like this, and they were able to stop UCF's run, I mean, this is a whole new world for Colorado where all of a sudden it's like, hey, 8-4 might be doable. I have some very new light on Colorado. They have a very, 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 very big game against Kansas State at 10:15 next weekend. I'm going to try my hardest to stay awake to watch it because, man, that's going to be a very exciting game. ECU hangs on to beat UTSA. Oklahoma wins late because of a late pick 6. They beat Auburn. Texas beat Mississippi State with Arch. Iowa State beats Houston 20-0. Clemson destroys Stanford. Penn State wins a semi-close one against Illinois. It's 21-7. Scores close. Game-wise, Illinois really didn't have a chance, but they always had a chance to cover. That's the best part. We talked about Alabama, Georgia, 41-34. Just, I mean, Bama goes up huge. Georgia storms back, and then they score a touchdown to win it. And then 2 plays later, Ryan Williams, the 17-year-old, scores a touchdown for Alabama to eventually win it. Ohio State, 38-7 win. I mean, man. Boise State, big win for them. We talked about Oregon, UCLA. win there. And then, man, another shocker. Arizona beats Utah. Huge upset for Utah. Florida State gets embarrassed by SMU, 42-16. Man, Florida State's just bad. There's a team this year that was in the top 10 that's going to completely fall out. Zero chance they make it to the top 10 this year. DJU benched for a few weeks with a finger, too. We'll see how true that is. I'm really curious how true that finger injury is, but, man, I don't know. I will say, though, absolutely insane weekend of college football. College football put on a spectacle for us. That Bama-Georgia game might have been game of the year. Colorado-UCF, they had some fun moments. I mean, Travis Hunter. Dude, you can say what you want. Colorado's fun to watch. Regardless of all the antics and bullshit they might pull, they are super fun to watch. Super exciting weekend of college football, that we said. And, man, I'm super excited. We got a lot to look forward to next week. Like I said, week 6, college football. Quickly, just looking ahead. Oregon, Michigan State on Friday. Not a lot of exciting game Fridays. Saturday, oh man, Air Force Navy, that might be interesting. Texas A&M Missouri has a chance. Missouri being dogs in that game. Indiana Northwestern, got to bet on my boys Indiana. Ohio State Iowa will be interesting. Georgia Auburn has some chance. Ole Miss South Carolina is now just interesting because of what happened last week. Rutgers Nebraska should be a fun game. That's 4-0 versus 4-1. Let's see, Boise State, Utah State. It's going to be interesting to see what Ashton Genty does. Yeah, they must be saving it. There's not too many crazy games. Yeah, so this weekend's, this upcoming week 6 a little bit calmed down, but week 7 is where all of the exciting action is going to be at. NFL-wise, before we get out of here, fun games to look forward to. We got the Bucs-Falcons Thursday night. For me personally, Colts-Jags is going to be a fun one. We got London game. Don't forget, those of you who are in Pickem, fantasy leagues, all that. 9:30 a.m. Eastern. We got the Jets versus the Vikings. But then past that, Bills-Texans should be fun. Ravens-Bengals should be interesting for the division aspect. Commanders-Browns is going to be interesting just for the Jaden Daniels aspect. And then we got the Detroit Lions, Chargers, Philadelphia Eagles, and Tennessee Titans all in bye. There you go for watching. Thank you for the support. That'll do it for today. I'm going to slowly morph these episodes a little bit. My eventual goal is I want to do... this is my thinking. So we aren't there fully yet, but this is my thinking. Monday, quick 30-minute episode breaking down all the college football action, maybe 40 minutes if we go super long. Tuesday would be the NFL break. So Tuesday would be exactly what we did today, like normal minus college. Monday would be strictly college only because obviously we still have some NFL games planned on Monday. Tuesday would be NFL only. Wednesday then would obviously be my Pick'em series and anything like that. And then I would have maybe one odd episode a week that I give out to that would dedicate obviously to Rowan or other guests if we have stuff to talk about outside football during football season. So I'm potentially going to be having 3 to 4 episodes coming out a week soon. I eventually want to go to 3, but we're going to wait. I'm going to play it out a little bit. Don't know if we do it for this season. By next season, we're definitely going to do a college episode breakdown and recap. College episode takeaway and recap. NFL episode takeaway and recap. And then we'll do Pick'em Thursdays like normal. I just want to break it up because, I feel bad. Like, we talk NFL for 40 minutes, and I'm like, I've already been here for super long. I don't want to do another hour on college football. I'd rather just be able to separate them. Say, like, hey, if you want to watch college football, boom. NFL football, boom. And I'll hopefully be able to dedicate some time. But like I said, that's way in the future. We'll eventually do that. But as for tomorrow, plan is Pick'em Thursdays on a Wednesday, just so it can come out for Thursday, obviously. But Pick'em Thursday, that's the plan. We'll go over all my bets and everything. Pretty successful week, man. I guess before I get out of here, read my records real quick. But man, like I said, I truly appreciate all the watching support. We growing, baby. Feel free to check out Stare Down Sports. Articles are being written there daily. Getting into that, obviously, more and more with the article writing and everything. I give out also other picks on there. But yeah, football-wise, college football straights, we are 28-22, spreads and money line. Player props, we are 6-5. NFL Pick'em record right now, I got to update it. But we had another good weekend. NFL bet-wise, 15-19 could be a little bit better, not horrible. Touchdown scores were 32-33. Not horrible. It could be a little bit better. Obviously, still plus money. And that's touchdown scores. Regular player props, 4-5. Nasty boys for college. Haven't hit a college nasty boy yet. I think we only hit one last year. And then yet again in the NFL, we hit early. 2 for 8 on nasty boys. We're up $328. But like I said, thank you all for watching. Really do appreciate it. Love all the support. And I will see pretty much everybody back here tomorrow for another episode of Pick'em. And man, football's already back for another week. We're in it now, baby. Just gonna keep going, keep going, keep going. Thank you all for watching. I'll see everybody back tomorrow for my picks and then my plays for the weekend.